Hey guys, it's been so long since I have filmed my last video, but I promise I'm back. I want to film one video a month. I think I could manage that. This first one is actually to kind of test my setup and what you will tell me, what I can do better and so on. So this is just gonna be an intro Q&A, so I'm basically gonna answer questions which I got on my Instagram account. So let's get to it. First question, are you a web developer? I'm not a web developer. I've never been one. I've never really aspired to be one. I've always gone far and far away from web development. It wasn't something that I was imagining myself to be doing. I've never really done any websites until I've done some school projects, and I've done my website, which you can see on my profile right now. I'm just not into web development. I rather do apps and backend software, so like desktop apps and so on. What's your age? I'm currently 22. I'm turning 23 on the 22nd of September, so very soon. First bucket list destination. Oh, I gotta think of something. Oh, I know, London. Definitely London, because I love Harry Potter and I'd love to visit the Wizarding World. And I've never been to London, so that's definitely a destination I want to visit. Best sources for ML and AI. Everything I know about ML and AI I've learned at my university through working on projects, taking the courses and working on my diploma thesis. So the only course I have done on machine learning was the machine learning crash course from Google, and I think it was a good one. Maybe you could start there. But I don't really know any good books, so I can't give you any suggestions. I'm a beginner in coding. Can you give me an advice? Well, I think the only advice I'd give you is to never lose passion for what you're doing, to always find projects that can teach you something that you really want to do, that you want to learn to do, and that's how you never lose the passion. And I think that that's when you become a really good programmer, when you're really doing what you love. Are you single? No, I'm not single. Would you marry me? Oh gosh, I have gotten so many marriage proposals that by this time I would have been married like 5,000 times. But thank you, no. What programming languages are you working with and learning now? Well, currently I'm finished with my education, so I've got a master's degree, and with that I also left my job. And I took some time to focus on my personal projects, and I'm starting a PhD in September, so I'm just currently getting better at some languages, or at the specific language, which is C++. So that's what I'm working on. How do you combine gym, programming, and other things? Well, I don't think that this is particularly hard to combine, especially when it's work and gym. I think you can go to work and then jump to the gym. But of course you also have to have a passion for the gym, because otherwise it would be just a waste of time for you. But yeah, so I think that's really easy to manage, and with the other things, that's when it gets harder. So that's why I never really had a full-time job. I was studying and had a part-time job, and that was also because I wanted to have some time for Instagram I would otherwise not have. How I combine it, it's just having good schedule, having good time management, and knowing what to put first. What's your profession? So I'm currently a student, as I said. I'm not in a full-time job. I'm not looking for a full-time job right now, so I'll just wait for what the PhD does for me. So I see how much time I will have left and what I can do with it. So yeah, I'm currently aiming to be a full-time student for a while. Projects you like to do? I like to do everything which kinda brings me passion. So when I can learn something new, or when it's something I've never done before, or just the idea in general, it's something I like, so I go for it. So those kind of projects are what I like to do. Mac or Windows? I've always been a Windows person. Since childhood, I never had a MacBook, so I never was into Macs. And then at school, I bought a MacBook, so I kind of got into the environment, but I still prefer Windows. And Also because of I'm programming in C++ and I'm using Visual Studio, so I'm more close to Windows. But I also have a Mac. What's your favorite programming language and why? My favorite programming language is C++, and it's because of the syntax, it's because of how extremely powerful the language is, and yeah, and I always wonder about how things can be written and how you can write effective code, manage your memory, and so on. So that's why it's C++. Your favorite Grand Prix moment and when did you visit? So I visited the Austrian Grand Prix this year, which was, I think, at the beginning of July. And my favorite moment was definitely the drivers parade, when I really felt that I'm close to the drivers, because when I see them on television, of course, it's different as when you see them in real life, when you're actually looking into their face. So that was a great moment, and also the sound was pretty nice. Any tips for students who are new to programming? I'd say almost the same things to someone who's just learning how to program, because it's obviously always to never lose your passion, because once you lose your passion, it all becomes useless. So just focus on the things you love. Flutter or React Native? There's a funny story behind this one. I had a university course on, what was it called? I feel like mobile development or something like that. But basically you had to do a mobile app. And I was aiming for React Native, but it just wasn't for me. I don't know, I did not like the language, I'm sorry. I felt like I had to build all the blocks by myself, and I just wasn't in the mood back then. So I have chosen Java because it was just an Android app. I wouldn't do it anymore. I prefer Flutter because I've actually done a few small things in Flutter and I really liked it. But I've never gone back to React Native, so maybe I could compare those two someday and try React Native again. At what time do you go to bed and wake up? I'm a night owl, but I had to change my schedule due to school and work, so currently I'm going to sleep at midnight and I'm waking up at about 8 o'clock. And with home office it has become so much better, like I'm now sleeping for 8+ hours. Because I'm able to wake up at, I don't know, maybe 7:45 and then go straight to work at 8. Advice on how to build a profile like yours. I've had this profile since 2013, so a lot of years has passed by, and I think that the community has changed a lot. Back then it was about showing your life, but now it's more about like giving people some added value, so when they open your profile they can actually learn something and become better. But also don't overdo it. Maybe each of your photos shouldn't be about learning something, because then people get like, I don't know, like brain swelling from your posts, you know, that it's just gonna be too much information for them. Tell me the hardest and interesting project name. I gotta think. Okay, it was probably a software router. Yeah, we had to do a software router when I was studying for my bachelor's degree. And this was a really tricky one because you had to follow all the sets of rules, which were very strict. So you had to read a lot and study a lot on how those things work, because I was not into networking really, although my course was on networking. Yeah, I could do a video on that as well. But yeah, it was really hard because you had to follow all the strict rules. So, you know, there was a lot of different ifs. How do you hunt bugs? Well, I see them and I go for them. Yeah, I smash them. What's your end goal? If you mean like end goal in life, I'd love to be happy. I'd love to, you know, have no worries. Like, have a nice family, had a good job that I love, and had enough money to not worry about money. Yeah. I think that's what most of the people want. And be healthy, of course. How do you manage time to be consistent with social media and your main work? Well, this has been tricky, especially when I was studying, working part-time, and still kind of like trying to manage my Instagram. That was hard because I went to school, then I went to work, or vice versa, and there were times when the sun would go down really soon. Like, for example, when I used to work until 4 p.m. then it was really dark outside already, so I couldn't shoot any pictures. So I had to stop working before, then shoot my pictures, and then work again, which was not what I wanted. You just don't want to be interrupted, I think. How many programming languages do you know? What does it mean to know a programming language? I still don't know the definition for it, but I've coded many projects in C++ and C#. Besides that, I've done something in JavaScript, something in Flutter, something in Python. I've also done some assembly, Java, various kinds of projects, especially at my university. Why do you wear socks all the time? Because I love socks. Because my feet are always cold and I have some cool designs. Not now, but I do have some. Where are you from? I'm from Slovakia. A proud Slovak girl, hey. Where do you live? I also live in Slovakia, in the capital, in Bratislava. Countries you have visited. Ooh. Okay, let's start. So I visited Czech Republic, Poland, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, Croatia, France, Italy, Germany, Holland, Norway, Greece. I think that's it. No, Russia. Russia as well. I think that's it. I hope so. Would you date or be friends with a hacker? Well, if it would be an ethical one, yes, of course. I mean, everyone's all over hackers, right? That's like the coolest thing you can be, you know? Because people always ask you, like, can you hack something? Can you hack something? Or can you fix something? Someone's asking me in Slovak why I always talk English. I talk English because, first of all, I want to improve my English skills. And second of all, my followers are from all around the world, and so I don't want to focus on one country specifically, or on one region, so that's why I do the videos in English. But it's kind of tricky when you're doing Instagram collaborations, because those brands always have like departments. For example, when you're working in, you have to work with Coca-Cola, you know, but you're actually working, for example, with Coca-Cola Austria or Coca-Cola Czech and Slovak Republic. You're not kind of like working with the whole brand, so it's kind of narrow from which collaborations you can actually choose from. The brand always has to have a global market, but not too global, so it does not have those departments. My boyfriend's name. Did you hear that? I hope not. Angular, Vue, or React? I'm not into these frameworks because I'm not a JavaScript person, as I've said before a million times, but my website is in Vue.js, so maybe Vue. Java or C#? Definitely C#. C# to me is so much better than Java. C# to me is like somewhere in between Java and C++. There's C# and C# is gorgeous. How many years of experience do you have as a developer? Again, I don't know the definition for this. I've studied informatics for 5 years. I've been working in cybersecurity for 2 years, and now I'm being kind of like self-employed, but still learning new things, so I think you should count that experience as well. Your first computer language? My first computer language has been C, because that was the first language we had to learn at my university. When did you start coding? When I entered my university, so it was back in 2016, which was 5 years ago. Is JavaScript enough to earn nice money? I think so. I mean, I find so many job offers, especially on JavaScript and Python, that I think that there's definitely a lot of opportunities. Your favorite song while fixing a bug? I never listen to music. I need to be focused, and I'm not focused when I'm listening to music, so I'm not listening to anything, I'm sorry. I just need to be in a quiet place and stare at the code. Can you sing any song? No, I cannot sing. Can you show us your PC specs? I want to do a separate video on my whole setup, so that's definitely gonna be there, but if you're curious, then check out my website, everything is listed there. Which IDE do you prefer? As I've said before, Visual Studio all the way, and besides that, Android Studio for mobile apps. What's the hardest programming language for you to learn? This is also funny because it was Java, because I came to my university knowing no programming languages, so I started with C, and then I had to go on with Java, which was an object-oriented language, and I could not comprehend that. I was just like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what are getters, setters, what's a constructor? It was kind of hard for me to comprehend, so that's why it was Java, but otherwise it's C++. And now the last question, your favorite F1 racer name. It's Lewis Hamilton, and I don't get all the hate around him. I think he's just so humble. He had a really nice story. He's trying to make a difference in the world, so it's definitely Lewis Hamilton. So that's it for the Q&A. I hope you liked it. I'd love to do something similar very soon, although I also love to do some tutorials so that you guys can learn something from me. So yeah, that's it. I hope you're all well, and of course subscribe to my channel and check out my Instagram. Bye!